What has happened in the COVID world is the digital glass ceiling has been broken. There were so many naysayers on digital, and it was hard for CIOs or CTOs or CDOs to actually get through that glass ceiling and ensure that digital transformation takes place within their organization. But that is actually being broken. And many times in a sales cycle, you often say that in order to make a concept sell, you need to have a proof of concept. Well, you know what? The proof of concept is here. People are going to start looking at digital infrastructure as the infrastructure.
COVID is the final push to digital. When you think about, businesses around the world, everyone's kind of at a different point on this bell curve towards the digital transformation. Obviously, digital transformation has been a movement that's been underway over the last several years. And COVID has really helped, illustrate and separate that in this post-COVID world, there's going to be winners and losers. And a lot of that will be defined by where people were on this evolutionary path towards truly digitizing their business, both in terms of how they operate, as well as how they serve their end customers.
I just look at all of infrastructure as an evolution. So in a sense, when you ask me this question of Back to the Future, yes, you're right that we are going towards that, but in a virtualized way. So you're no longer looking at the same thing as a physical entity, you're looking at it as a virtual entity. And therefore, everything, whether it's infrastructure, storage, compute, network, application, I think everything is going to get software defined.
The old model of an organization is a box. There's abundance outside the box. There's lots of talent. And there's scarcity inside the box. There's only so many traditional job roles, and they're in a hierarchy. And that's it. The people with the greatest capacity, the highest in-demand skill sets, the ones with the most access, the ones with the greatest networks, are the ones that always do well. And what has happened over and over again in recession after recession in the past is that the more disadvantaged become even more disadvantaged.
When we're bringing people on, the interviews, everybody's got to be the perfect match, the cultural fit, all of these things. I honestly believe that's an impediment to getting talented people into your workforce that maybe don't fit the mold that you think they would.
I don't believe that's going to work for us. I don't believe that's going to work. I don't think that capitalism is going to let that model work sustainably for a long time. And the way we've always led with, is it has to be good for the community, and then everything else will follow.
Our thesis is if you want to see a more diverse workforce, you have to work with them on their terms. And for us, it's a very specific demographic of professional women.
I say there's 4 domains for the future of work. Individuals, organizations, communities, and countries. And so for individuals, what do people want? They want to be able to find or create meaningful, well-paid work. So what we need to do is we need to reduce the friction and increase the efficiency by which people find or create meaningful, well-paid work. And then organizations always need to have the talented people that can solve their problems of today and tomorrow. And so that process we have to fix. We have to make that much more effective for both. And in the past, what we've done is we've put managers in just impossible positions and created what I call management by surveillance. If you can't see the worker in front of you, then they're not doing their work. And we inherited that from the industrial era, where we were trying to figure out how do we scale this, this thing called human work. And we've just failed miserably to reinvent that.
In our view of the world, we don't measure based on effort. We measure based on what you're able to accomplish, what outputs you're able to create. And I think that as you look at this time that we're in right now, I think people are realizing that. And the ones that weren't doing that previously are having a difficult time. They're thinking to themselves, how do I know my person is sitting at that computer for 8 hours a day? How do I know that they're doing the work that they're supposed to be doing? Well, if you're managing them based on the output that they're creating, the value that they were giving to the organization, you'd never have that question. And I think that'll be a really positive thing that will come out of this, is we will learn as in many industries, we will learn how to manage workers in a way that is better for both sides.
What's been interesting is seeing how rapidly stakeholders and decision makers are embracing change because they have to, which I'm going to optimistically hope sticks when we get out of this moment. There is still an old-fashioned idea about how people get work done. And I think there are a lot of managers who feel that if they can't see you and they can't monitor you, they don't think that you're actually working.
But I do think that coming out of the other end of this, we're going to see a sustained need, two sides of it, right? Two sides of it. You're going to see a sustained need of enterprises that are going to want to stay resilient.
If we can learn in this really specific moment that is so hard, new and adaptable techniques, imagine what we can do when we're not all afraid that we're going to be ill and we're actually able to have interactions.